All right, so let's get started with the pledge, please. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First order of business is the reorganization meeting. So if you can turn to that folder, that's a series of resolutions and stuff. We'll walk through them one at a time. Yep. The first one is the appointment of the deputy supervisor and the bookkeeper. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Alan, I'm going to have to recuse myself on this.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. The next one is the appointment of the comptroller and the accounting officer.
I'll make
the motion. I'll second by Gary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. The next one is the resolution for official undertaking. Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion, Alan.
Who's that? Hold
Do I have a second?
on. Which one is that? I'm sorry.
That's the one on
Undertaking.
Stick it down.
the official undertaking. It's pages 2 through
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and dribbles on to page 4.
Yep. Okay, I'll make a motion for that. Or
All in
second.
favor?
Second.
Jessup made a motion, so you,
I'll second it.
Second by Gary.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carried. Next is the appointment of town employees and officers. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. The next is board and committee appointments. I'd like to bring up one additional thing here. Most of these are perfunctory and we're reappointing. We have an open slot on the planning board alternate member. We had one applicant. We had it out for quite a period of time. We did get somebody who expressed some concern, but that was yesterday, and I kind of think we're kind of too late in the process. So I'm going to take that resume, and I recommend we take that resume and put it in a folder for future use. But the one person that we had that for the 2 months that it was open was Al Rabasco. So I think I'll make a motion at this time that we appoint him as the planning board alternate member. Is there a second?
I'll second Alan's motion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. And now the broader
I
one.
abstain.
I'm sorry?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
abstaining.
You're abstaining? Okay. And now on the broader one to appoint all the rest of the board and committee appointments. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
I'll
Have a
second
second?
it, Gary.
All in
Second by-
favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Carried. Next one up has to do with professional services. I'd like to also request an amendment to this. In addition to Clark Patterson Lee being named as a firm for engineering services, I'd like to add the firm of Andrews. What's the full name for that?
John Andrews.
John Andrews Engineering as well, as one of the engineering firms we could do, along with Renia as our conflict engineer. Is there any discussion?
Wait, hold on a second. You're adding John Andrews as what?
In addition to Clark Patterson Lee as just an engineering company that we can use their services during the year.
Well, then why don't we put him with the alternates?
We're good.
Well, the Renia is specifically for conflict engineers, and I don't want to muddy those
For
waters.
conflict. So you don't want two for conflict?
Yeah, I don't want 2 conflict engineers. I just want to indicate that we have some flexibility for assigning work.
And we want 2 engineers for planning and town board and zoning?
I don't think we know exactly how we're going to split that work out.
Yeah,
Or even, or how or when, but I just wanted to mention that we want to have that flexibility. Now I will say, there's no reason why we can't use Andrews as a conflict engineer if we choose to as well, because this appointment is not exactly binding. We can
Okay.
hire and use people whenever we want anyway.
All right.
But I just wanted to mention it because we've been talking to them and that sort of thing.
Okay, I don't understand, because you have Clark Patterson Lee,
Yep.
who has a vast company to back us up on just about any kind of subject we want. And I don't know where John Andrews is coming from.
I'd like to see him in stormwater.
That's not nice.
Well, that's what we discussed. I
Why,
discussed
why
that
would you put him
today.
in stormwater?
Yes. Because that's what he does. When we were talking to his stormwater and new development is his best, and for the LP or CPL in water and sewer in the town center.
Mhm.
Okay, but we have a stormwater officer.
But I think he's talking about doing the engineering review of stormwater design, which is not what that position is. Currently, CPL does most of that.
Joe, the second resolution where there's stormwater coordinator, and it says Clark Patterson, so we just want to have it say, you know,
Yeah.
John Andrews Engineering. He'd be the engineer for coordinating the stormwater instead of Clark Patterson.
Yes.
So am I in the wrong resolution?
No,
Well,
you're
you
good,
can
you're
do
good.
both.
Or do you want them in both?
No,
I
you
don't,
can vote.
I'm missing something. I don't see his name anywhere.
No, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about adding the name in the resolution before we vote on it, Joe.
All right, so I'm against that. So where do we go from
So
here?
can I have a motion and a second, and then I'll put down?
John Andrews.
So the motion is to add, is on the professional services resolution employing engineering services and conflict engineer. And the motion is for an amended resolution adding
John
John
Andrews.
Andrews.
John Andrews to the part where it says Clark Patterson Lee as retained for professional services and engineering. And I have a motion from Richie. Do I have a second?
Second by Gary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Joe?
Joe,
Okay.
are you, is that
I'm
a
opposed.
nay?
That's an A.
Thank you.
All right, now, as I understand it, Gary, it sounds to me like you're proposing that we strike Clark Patterson Lee and replace it with John Andrews for
No,
stormwater coordinator, is
I
that
don't
correct?
see why we need John Andrews.
I'm asking Gary whether that's what he's proposing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you want to do you want to answer Joe's question?
Which is the question.
Why do we need John Andrews?
We need different engineers. This way we're going to have options.
We could have
Just
what?
like him. Excuse me?
We could have what? I didn't.
Options with different
Options?
engineers. Yes.
Okay, well, because, Clark Patterson has more than 3 engineers.
Mhm.
So there's lots of options there.
Right.
I think what
Just
Gary's
one
not getting at is we need a little diversity. Correct, Gary?
Yes.
Well, all right. Engineering is engineering. It's not, they don't make up things, or they're not supposed to make up things. It's what the facts show. So what you're saying
Just
is
see
you
what
want an
John can bring
option
to the
as to
table.
who's going to pick the facts in a specific job or in all jobs.
It's to all jobs on stormwater.
Okay, so see, he's saying all jobs on stormwater.
Well, we can change it, Joe, just like anything else through the thing. You can change. It doesn't mean that that's what you have to do.
Could you give me a reason why you think John Adams would be better than
John
Clark
Andrews.
Patterson?
John Andrews.
Better than.
We can have
Clark
both of them on
Patterson?
there, like, just like the first one. I thought that's what we were going to do. We could have both.
See how it works.
We have,
Excuse me, are you going to make a motion to have both of them under the resolution for stormwater coordinator, and then you can use whichever ones you want?
Well, we're going to see how John works, and then we'll go from there.
I think we're trying to determine what it is we're going to vote on, though. Are we
Yes.
voting on this resolution saying John Andrews for stormwater coordinator, or are we voting on Clark Patterson Lee and John Andrews being stormwater coordinator? And Gary, this is a question for you. Which was your intent?
Yeah, either one is fine. I don't mind having both because we can use either.
All right, so I'm gonna just add John Andrews into this resolution like I did the last one.
I have a question.
Okay,
The stormwater coordinator has very specific responsibilities. And if we're going to split that, we need to understand how we're going to split it. Engineering, we have different projects coming in and we can make that decision as we go. I'm not sure how we do that with stormwater coordinators. So if your feeling is that we want to try John Andrews, which is what I think I'm hearing out of Richie, and then if we change our mind, we can go back. I think the way to go is to make this resolution be John Andrews being appointed, because I think we need to know who's going to be performing this role, rather than somebody trying to figure out which one of them is doing what for which. Without knowing how to do that. I mean, someone's going to have to do work associated with this tomorrow.
Yep.
And if I don't know how to assign it, that's a problem.
Let's use John as all new and CPL as all existing, what he's doing right now, so it doesn't confuse anybody.
Okay. If that's the case.
What do you mean it doesn't affect anybody? It affects everybody. It affects everybody who's having their storm water projects reviewed.
Anything
right now, they're fine.
Right
Nobody's had a complaint other than you.
Yep. Anything that's.
Yeah, but let me understand something. Is it because of your past projects? Are you complaining that you want John Andrews?
Not even a little.
Because of what you see someplace else?
Nope. Not even a little.
Not even a little?
Nope.
So why John Andrews and why at this time?
Competition. Let's see what the difference in price is. Let's see how he works with it, and see. We already know what CPL does. Let's see how John Andrews handles everything.
Well, did you ask him what the prices were?
Yes, we did.
And what did you say?
He was 105 an hour.
He was going to beat Clark Patterson?
Well, let's just see how he handles it.
Let's see how it. So what you're doing, okay, what you're telling me is you want to put projects, stormwater projects, in question because you want to see how John Andrews does on this. And you have
no. All we want him to do is he's going to do the new projects coming up. We're not taking anything away from DPL. All their stuff that's going, they
tell me why.
Because we're going to see with how he does and the price and what happens.
Okay, so that's my point. My point is that you have somebody now and you know they're doing a good job. So you want to try an unknown to see if they do a better job.
I've heard from other towns how he works, and let's see how he does.
Okay,
So we can always say no after we see
hold on a second.
He does.
Do we just go ahead and make serious changes because we heard something?
No,
We have a fact that we know. We know Clark Patterson Lee is doing a good job. Now you come up with a name. Now you're going to have a sole operator, right? Because as opposed to a company that has many engineers who are very well qualified in this and have been doing a good job for however many years we've been using them to do this. You're telling me you just want it's a win. What you're telling me is you have a win that John Andrews is going to solve all our problems and be cheaper. So let's do that.
I think competition amongst vendors is a good thing too.
You think competition is a good thing?
Yes.
Against vendors, yes,
So
I do.
why don't we have 7 lawyers? Why don't we have a
Well,
lawyer? Huh? What was
We
that?
have 2 different law firms representing the town.
Which 2?
Vanderwater.
Vanderwater and
and
Wallace.
Wallace and Wallace.
They do one project. They do one thing.
No, they actually,
And the other guy does all the rest.
prosecution and tax certs are done by Vanderwater. Wallace
As
and
well as all of the in-flight water and sewer agreements are also still being done by Vanderwater. So it's
Okay.
analogous to this.
All right, so you
Excellent.
broke that up. I don't understand. We know what Vanderwater has done with that, and we're going along with it. If you want to, out of the blue, pick a project for
It's not
John
out of the blue.
Andrews.
We've
to
been
do.
talking about this for several months, me and Alan.
Oh, just you and Alan.
No, Alan, Gary, Ed.
You don't talk to me
I talked to you the other day
about John Adams?
with Bolner
Andrew.
Andrews,
also.
About John Andrews? Why do I keep calling you John Adams?
mixing him up with an attorney.
Because I think he was in the revolution.
With you.
Joe, it doesn't hurt to
We
try.
sat next to each other at the convention.
Well, gentlemen, do
Now,
you have any kind of
yes.
motion?
if I may, my understanding is the resolution is to name both Clark Patterson Lee and John Andrews as stormwater coordinators, with the understanding that Clark Patterson Lee will continue to perform that role with all projects that are currently underway, and that John Andrews will be assigned to new ones. Have I got
Which
that
means
right?
we're
I'll
going
make
to
that-
a new engineer for stormwater. If he's going to do all the new projects.
That's my understanding of the motion that's on the floor, however.
Clark Patterson
Have I
out.
got that? Have I got that right, Gary and Richie?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll make,
So Gary, I'm going to say you made the motion. Richie, I'm going to say you second.
Yes.
Do I, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye, nay.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry, because I just want to get this correct. All current projects that Clark Patterson Lee are working on, they're still in effect. And any new projects that are coming forward, John Andrews.
Christine, for the purposes of the resolution and the reorg, you just need to add John Andrews to the list to say that they're being appointed for stormwater coordinator.
Thank you.
The motion that we made on how this is going to work is something we need to communicate downstairs, but I don't think it really needs to be in this resolution.
Thank you very much.
All right, because we can make that decision. It doesn't have to be documented
Yes,
in
but
the
also-
reorg meeting.
Okay.
If you want to make that decision at another time, you can do that too. You don't have to put him in.
Yes,
this-
we could do that.
In this now, just at
But
another
we
time,
just
just
made that
leave him out.
decision
And
now,
at
though.
another time,
Right, we just had a motion and a vote on it.
try and
Right.
give it to him.
That's true. We could have done that, but that's not what happened. So the next item on the agenda has to do with attorneys, and we are naming Wallace and Wallace, retaining as the ZBA and Planning Board agencies, also for Town Board, and Vanderwater and Vanderwater are going to be for the purpose of doing legal advices for tax certs, and doesn't say anything about prosecutions, but I
No,
don't
you
think
want
we
me to
normally
add
put
that in,
that.
Alan?
Nah, it's okay, because I don't think we ever include that in there.
No, we haven't in the past.
Oh, we have?
No, we have never.
Yeah, so I don't think we need to do it. Do I have a motion?
Ed
I'll make
Jessup
that
will
motion.
make the motion.
I'll second by Gary.
Gary, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, carried. Next one has to do with appointing Mackey, Butts, and Wise for conflict attorneys for Town Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Planning Board.
Mhm.
It also has it also says that it's resolved that the Town Board will designate a conflict attorney on a case-by-case basis should there be a conflict with the conflict attorney.
Ed Jessup will make the motion for the conflict attorney and Mackey Buster.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Carried. Next up is the resolution for paid holidays. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion for the paid holidays.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
You want to do
Carried.
the union separately?
Yes, the next resolution is for paid holidays for the union employees. That's because the holidays aren't identical.
I'll make the motion for the union holidays, Alan.
Do I have a second?
Second by Gary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next up is a somewhat complicated resolution, deals with business hours, when business meetings take place, and a number of other appointments and such. Let me see if there's something in here I want to call attention to. There isn't. Do I have a motion for that resolution that has to do with hours of operation, board meetings, and appointment of our radio frequency engineer, the accounting firm, and the banks?
I have a question.
Sure.
At the bottom of page 8, did you want the planner to open bids? Does she review
She's in there because that's the way it always was done before when Wanda was doing the planning. I mean, I could change it.
I don't know.
This just authorizes them to be able to do it. We decide who's going to actually open the bids depending on the nature of the bids, right, Christine?
No, it's usually whoever puts the bid out. Then I'm there present with them while they open it.
But my point is, everyone here doesn't open the bids.
No,
These are just the people who could open the bids.
No, I
yes,
just-
that's correct.
Fine.
All
I'll
right,
make
so
that
we
motion.
decide based on the nature of the bid who's
Yeah,
present and who's there.
that's
For
correct.
example, my name's on here and I've never attended the opening of the bid.
Right,
That's
you're
correct, right.
So it's just authorizing who can. Do I have okay, any other further questions? Do I have a
I'll make the
motion?
motion.
Joe made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second by Gary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Next one is also kind of a bit of a catch-all motion. It says who's authorized to being reimbursed for mileage.
That was part of that whole thing, Alan.
Oh, that's all part of the same one?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's all
that
this-
was-
Oh, okay. Change pages. I thought it was a new one, so never mind.
Yeah.
And are we done?
Yes, looks that way.
I think we're done. Okay, that closes the reorg meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the
So
motion.
moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. All right, now we'll resume the regular meeting. The first order of
Could you
business
just give me
is,
1 second to get my papers in order?
absolutely, Christine. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
So the first order is accepting the minutes from the January 30th meeting. Do I have a motion?
Ed Jessup will make the motion for the,
Do I have a second?
Second by Gary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. Town Board revenue reports, Public Works, $4,205, Highway, $2,200, Justice Sullivan Baseglia, $11,940, Justice O'Hare, $10,410, Recreation, $165, Town Clerk, $719.35. Do I have a motion to accept the revenue reports?
I'll make that motion.
Alan, there was one thing. Did we get the planning numbers in? I don't know if I heard you.
No,
It was pending, Ed.
Okay,
That and building and zoning are pending. We don't have those.
sorry, I wasn't sure if I heard it.
Okay, where were we?
So we have Councilman Luna. I need a second.
Second by Gary.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. No correspondence this evening. The first agenda item is to authorize me to sign a retainer for Vanderwater and Vanderwater for tax certiorari matters for 2021. It's basically a contract that they said they're going to provide the services and the rate that they provide and that sort of thing.
So
An
moved.
annual thing.
Ed Jessup,
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. The next stop is a purchase request from Mike Kelly. He's asking for us to authorize him to go out to bid for the items indicated on there. All three of these items were in his budget request that he filed last fall as well. And as I said, this is authorizing him to go out to get bids. These are estimates. Once he gets actual numbers, he'll come back, and then at that point, we'll actually authorize the purchase of the equipment or not, depending on what we decide, guys.
Joe
Do I
Luna.
have a motion to authorize him to go out for bid?
Joe Luna.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Richie.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. Next, we have a similar request from Parks and Recs, although I want to make one observation. This memo does not say that it's that is being asked to go out for, it does not read that they're asking us to authorize to go out to bid, even though it indicates that the prices are estimate. I want to clarify that all we're authorizing with this request is to go out to bid, not actually purchase the equipment. It's the same kind of a request, but the wording was a little bit different, and I wanted to make sure that we understood which action we're taking, which is authorizing to go out to bid, not to actually buy the equipment. These were all put in with the budget request last year as well, or last fall. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. Go out to bid.
Do I have a second?
I'll second Gary's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. Do we have committee reports? Do we have anything from the CAC?
CAC is still looking strongly into solar farms.
Okay.
Unionville is putting one in, so they're following the way what
I
they
think
do.
Unionville's done.
Okay.
No,
so
not yet.
It's not operational yet, Richie?
No,
Really? Well, last time I drove by there, I didn't see any construction vehicles, so I assumed it was complete, but okay.
I was up there the other day hauling material and they still got a bit to go.
So the CAC is doing what, John? I'm confused.
They're studying it. They're very excited about these solar farms. And they've asked me some questions, and I understand they got some information from you about the Titusville Road one, not Titusville Road, the Senior Hill.
Is also going up.
Yeah. The one in Unionville is an interesting wrinkle because if you recall, the one that we looked into years ago, the purpose of that was it was going to be installed on town property, and it was going to provide electricity for town government purposes.
Yes.
Right? There are other solar farms that go in for they're kind of commercial activities, if you want. They put them in they're put in by a private organization. They generate electricity and they make it available to the public at a particular rate.
Yeah.
This one in Unionville is being put in by the town on town property, but the electricity is being made available to some portion of the community. And I don't know how that operates.
Yeah, no,
That's a relatively recent thing that's been authorized by New York State. And I don't know what the details are. Joe, I'd like to ask if the CAC is looking into the logistics and how that actually works. I'd like them to prepare a presentation back to the board to explain how it works in general terms. Because I think it would behoove the board to understand how that works. Because if we were going to do something like that in the town of LaGrange, the town board would actually be taking the action.
yes.
And it would be interesting for us to understand how that works. What are the pros and cons? How is it available to the public? How is it administered? If they're looking into all that, they ought to be doing it with an eye on giving us a presentation and explaining how it
Right,
works.
right. My first question is, would it be like our water and sewer districts?
Yeah, and I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
Those people that draw from it were the ones.
And the thing that's odd about it is the way that all these things work is the electricity that's being produced by these things don't necessarily go to the homes that are being, quote, benefited by it, right?
Right.
It goes back onto the grid. So it's kind of this strange arrangement on how that all works. And I understand how it works when you do it for a single person, because it's equivalent to putting it on your rooftop, right? You might be collecting solar electricity all day long and putting it out onto the grid. You're not using it. Then you come home at night and you turn on your lights. You're using electricity that was produced someplace else, but it's a simple understanding of how you're getting, it's a credit and that kind of thing. It works fairly straightforward that way.
Okay,
This one confuses me, and I haven't had the time or inclination to look into it into detail. So if they're looking into that, I'd be real interested in having them come and explain that to us on how it's going to work.
okay.
If you remember the problem that we had with one on Scenic Hill was the hookup charge, which was
Yeah.
184.
Yeah, what happened was Solar City gave us a price for the whole thing, and it was attractive, and we signed the contract. But when they went to connect to Central Hudson, they were presented with a bill for, I can't remember, it was a large number. It was like $175,000 or something that wasn't in their calculations. And so the whole thing didn't work financially.
It became unaffordable.
Yeah, but that was several years ago, and not only may have things changed on those charges, this entire operation we're talking about in Unionville, that wasn't even permitted back then. So the rules have changed, the technology's changed. It would be good for us to get an update, I think.
Sounds good.
I would talk to Betsy over at Unionville and she could bring you up to speed on how they did it.
Well, I'd rather they talk to her and then they can tell
Yes.
me, so I don't have to do the work.
Yep.
If they're already looking into it, I don't need to do that. I'm perfectly content with them doing all the legwork and then coming in and answering our questions.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and they're
Jim.
perfectly happy doing it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a committee, let them do some work. That's fine.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay,
Anything from highway?
And no.
Anything from business and economic development?
No.
Recreation?
Nope.
Open space?
At the board's request, I contacted the Open Space Committee and I have them reactivating and seeing if there's the potential of any, they might want to be interested.
Okay. Thanks. Are there any town board comments?
No.
Anything from, well, I guess we don't have our town attorney tonight. Do I have a motion to open up for public comment?
Ed Jessup will make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Any questions or comments from the public? You'll have to unmute yourself. Going twice. Do I have a motion to close the public comment?
I'll make that motion, Alan. Ed Jessup.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Carried. Any further town board discussion of any kind?
No.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second by Gary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
okay.
Stay safe.